Okay, problem 21A part 2. Now, if you wrote nice and neatly and typed out your general journal, it would look just like that. Everything that happened in the month of April is listed. All the way down to the very end. It's all there, okay? Now, this is nice. It's complete. It's everything that happened in the month of April. But as nice as it is, and as complete as it is, it's also fairly useless. Because if I ask you, how much money do we have in the cash account, you're going to have to go through and check off cash, cash, cash. It's going to be a big, large, huge pain in the patoot. What you're likely to do is you're likely to take a piece of paper, write down cash, in and out, and if you're an accountant or some other form of deviant, you'll use the words debit or credit, and you'll list all the gazintas and all the gazaltas, and you'll come up with a cash balance. What you did instinctively is called a general ledger. And what you do with the general ledger, and these are a bunch of ledger accounts, and here's those stupid numbers we talked about, okay? And the stupid numbers in this is the posting reference. Everything here is from the general journal, page 1. So just write that down for everything, okay? And again, I'm not trying to make you into accountants. I don't need the competition. You'll be good. So, I'm going to go and I'm going to look at my journal and I say, okay, let's see. Okay, on the first I have cash. So on the first I have cash. That's 80,000 in debit cash, because remember we're still following, debits, expenses, assets, and dividends. So I looked there, saw my 80,000, wrote it down, good to go. Now the next is office equipment. I need to be careful not to go to office supplies, but to go to office equipment. Office equipment, number 163, and my office equipment is 26,000. So I'll write that down. Office equipment, date the 1st, 26,000, G1, just to keep them happy, 26,000. That's the ledger account for equipment and cash. And I have one more ledger account, the owner's equity, and I happen to know that's on the last page. Common stock on the first, G1, just to keep those morons happy, 106,000, and the balance of 106,000. That's the first entry. Now, the next entry is prepaid rent and cash. Okay, so my cash in this case is going out. I'm crediting cash. So on the second, I have a $9,000 credit to cash, and the balance is $71,000. Notice in a general ledger, you keep a running balance in the balance column. You still observe the rules of debits and credits, but you keep a running balance in the balance column. And that took care of the cash. And then I have prepaid rent, and that's over here. Prepaid rent, it's a second, G1, and prepaid rent is an asset, so that's a debit. $9,000. And I'm keeping that running balance in every account. Now I'm looking at office equipment, office supplies, and accounts payable. So I have office equipment over here of $8,000. And I have office supplies and my supplies were how much? $3,600. Again, they're an asset. There's something of value. And I did not pay for these. I put these on account. So I have accounts payable of $11,600. And that's a credit balance. And I'm going to go through and do that with each and every one of these all the way down. It sounds like it's a pretty onerous task. It really isn't once you start. And when you're finished, your ledger's going to look like this. There's your cash account. There's your accounts receivable, office supplies, prepaid insurance, prepaid rent, and we'll have those all in order. Office equipment, oops, sorry, at the top here, office equipment, accounts payable, common stock, dividends, service revenue, utility expense. I'll have all my accounts listed in the ledger. That's a really useful device. It's not the end of the story. We have to do something with that ledger to make sure that the numbers are correct and complete, and we'll finish that up in part 3.